Hey, it's Jeff Walker, and I have Susan Pierce Thompson with me. And one of the things I have taught over the years, it's one of the greatest ways to build a list of both prospects and clients is by doing a launch. And Susan shared her experience over, I think, the last year with me, which illustrates this point in a very dramatic fashion. I thought you'd find this really interesting. So, Susan, could you just tell a little bit about your business and what's gone on in the last year or so?
Sure. So I'm in the weight loss business. I'm a tenured psychology professor, and I teach people how to lose weight. And I have been doing that in my personal life just through one-on-one consultations and teaching a college course on the psychology of eating. And about a year ago, I had sort of an epiphany in my meditation, my morning meditation, that I really ought to be sharing this with other people, because a lot of people are experiencing that their brain is blocking them from losing weight and they don't know why. And as a neuroscientist and a psychologist, I can explain that to them. So
you actually knew why.
I actually knew why. And I'm a formerly obese woman myself, and I lost all my weight 12 years ago, and weight loss was the biggest struggle of my life. So I think a lot of people who build businesses like this have that experience where they overcome something in their own life, or they learn something in their own life, and then they go build a business to teach other people what they learned. And that was really my story. And so I knew I was sitting on a bunch of information and a perspective that would be valuable to a lot of people. So what I did was I started by getting your book launch. It just coincided right with the release of your book. I got the book. At that time, I didn't have really the extra money to buy product launch formula, so I just started with your book. And you explained all about the value of a list, the importance of building a list, nurturing that list. And so on August 5th of 2004, I launched my list. And that is the date for me of the beginning of my business. And I just sent out an email to all the people that I knew who already knew that I was an expert in this field, saying, hey, I'm starting this list where I'm just going to share for fun and for free the psychology and neuroscience of sustainable weight loss. And from August 5th until, 2-3 months later, I built that list up to, at first it was like 200, then 300 people. I had a really good free report that was called, it's still there, the 3 huge mistakes that almost everybody makes when they try to lose weight. And so
that initial piece was just like sending it out to friends.
Yeah,
and,
Facebook, sending it out to friends. So, the first day I got, 75 people, and then over in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, I got a couple hundred people, and then I kind of stalled out. So it took quite a while to get up to 300 people. And then, really from August to September to October to late October, I got up to 380 people.
Which is awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
I was busy writing emails. I was keeping in touch with my list, which is something you taught me how to do. You build that relationship. I was sending out great content. But word of mouth is slow when you just have, a few people. And then what happened was I did my first launch. And I did it with the book launch, and not the product launch formula course, but the video. You often say that your 3 free videos for the product launch formula course are the second best marketing course in the world. And I took that second video on how to do a seed launch, and I created a seed launch out of that plus what was in the book. And that's that little tiny red spike down here. So I went from, it looks tiny on this graph, but it was pretty big, because I went from 380 people to 680 people. So I almost doubled my list.
That's awesome.
Off one webinar and just a seed launch. And I just told people, I'm just going to take you through a 6-week course, a teleconference course. And, then it took me...
How much did that seed launch make in there?
$11,000.
Woohoo!
I was like, and, that money meant a lot to my family. Like, I have 3 little kids, and I'm going to cry. My husband and I are from California, and my kids had never visited our family because we couldn't get all 5 of us on an airplane. And when I did that seed launch, I was in October, and we took all of our kids out to Thanksgiving to visit our family,
That's great.
So, $11,000 meant a lot to us,
Yes.
We bought tickets for Thanksgiving, and all our kids met our cousins and our aunts and our uncles, and
That's awesome.
it meant a lot. So,
That's awesome.
and I was still delivering the course, so I delivered that course, and it went great. And then I bought Product Launch Formula.
That's great. The seed launch funded it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it did, exactly. Yeah. And then all the way, but look at this growth here in my list, right? Almost nothing, from 680 people in 1, 2, 3, 4.5 months up to 833 people. That's what it took to get all that. And then in February with Product Launch Formula, I did my first real bona fide launch. And in the 2 weeks of doing that launch, my list went from 833 people to 6,400 people. And that launch made $165,000.
Could you say those numbers?
833,
833,
6,400
6,400
in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. Unbelievable. And by creating great content.
By creating great content.
Big.
So my three, you say this in the business area, I say this in the weight loss area. My course, the Bright Line Eating Bootcamp, is the best weight loss course in the world, and I have data to back that up. But my 3 free videos on the psychology and neuroscience of sustainable weight loss that I use for my launch, that's the second best weight loss course in the world.
That's awesome.
And they got a lot of viral traffic because I explain stuff that nobody knows about how the brain blocks weight loss. So that was all people sharing my videos on Facebook and people sending out emails to other people about my content.
That's fantastic. So you just went from August, this is August 2014, August 5th, I think it was you said, and then we're into
February
2015. And you're up at
2015.
6,000. How much in sales did that launch do?
$165,000.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That is
and
incredible.
meanwhile, I'm a college professor. I'm teaching
Right.
4 college courses. I have 3 little kids. Like I built this business. Like I don't want
You
to say
weren't
my
sleeping,
spare time.
right? No,
I was.
zero sleep.
Sleep was rough. I mean, mostly because the business was so exciting that it was keeping
Right.
me up. You know, this is exciting. It's heady stuff when you're
Right.
doing like right on the edge of your comfort zone and
Yeah.
getting ideas. And I frequently had the experience of coming to consciousness at 5 a.m. with business ideas rolling through my head, which I used to sleep like a log, and
Those
business,
days are gone.
I get them back every now and then.
Yeah.
So then I delivered that course, but look, again, no list growth, even though now I had 6,400 people that knew about me, knew about my stuff, my free report on the 3 huge mistakes that everybody's making when they try to lose weight, that was all still out there. But from February to March to April to May to June, my list grew from 6,400 to 6,800. Like almost no list growth,
Right.
even though the same content was still out there until I did my next launch, which was in June, just recently. And my list, again, in 2 weeks went from 6,400 to 11,000 in 2 weeks. I used the same videos again.
Absolutely. So same videos in each launch.
Yep.
About 4 months
March,
apart.
yeah, 4 months
4
apart.
months apart.
Basically, the time
And
to deliver
boom.
the course and then
Yeah.
regroup and do another
Yeah.
launch.
So I mean, you've had 3 big spurts. I mean, this looks like a tiny spurt now, but going
It doubled
from
the list,
going
yeah.
from 380 to 680 was a
Yeah.
huge burst back
Yeah.
then. And our standards of measurement always evolve over time. But
Right.
boom, and now you're at like near 12,000 people.
A little over 11,000, yeah.
Okay, a little over. And what did this launch do?
$171,000.
$171,000. That's amazing. Unbelievable. And we're talking about from August, and we're not even into a year yet.
Yeah, 10 months.
Yeah, absolutely
10 months, so-
amazing. So talk a little bit about the people going through your course and the impact you've made on them.
So as a formerly obese woman, I used to lie on the floor and write letters to God. Like, there's got to be a way. I could run a marathon. I got a PhD in brain and cognitive sciences, and I can't take off this weight. It's crazy. And I relate to the people who can't lose weight. Like, really. And my tagline is happy, thin, and free. It changes everything. It's not just about losing a few pounds. It's about getting freedom from food obsession, confidence in your skin, living your right life, like having all those extra pounds, not being able to tie your shoes, like it's just, uncomfortable getting into a car, buckling a seatbelt, and all of a sudden being able to throw your shoulders back and, go into a department store and buy clothes and just wake up and feel like you're in your right skin, bounce out of bed with energy. It's just changing people's lives. I mean, completely, totally transforming people's lives from the inside out, because there's a there's a hollowing out of one's integrity that happened for me when I woke up every day promising myself that it was going to be different and that I was going to eat differently and that I was going to get it together this time. And then by that night, I was sitting in front of the TV, shoveling in food once again, and then promising it again the next day. And to get to a place, which is what I teach people how to do, to change their brains so they can finally live in congruence with what they want to be eating, in according to their values, based on what they already know about sound nutritional principles. I'm watching people get their self-esteem back, their self-efficacy back, their self-confidence back. You know, when you give someone a survey about what being overweight is affecting, people report that they're waiting to live their life until they lose their weight. They're not contributing their gifts to the world because they're waiting till they lose their weight. And the average dieter tries 4 or 5 new attempts every year and never succeeds. You know, fewer than 1% of people take off all their excess weight and keep it off. And I'm teaching people how to do that. I mean, my stats are outrageous. You know, people lose their weight on my program, you know, 3.5 times faster than Weight Watchers and 7 times more weight, you know. Wow. And that's the currently established national best, you know. Wow. So just to be able to offer that to people, and we're building a tribe. It's just a community. It's just gorgeous. We're just banding together. We're building this bright line eating movement, and it's there's nothing like having that impact, you know. And you're having impact through me because, you know, you're teaching me how to do this. I don't know anything about marketing. I don't know anything about. I'm a professor. I don't know. Right. I know about sharing information. That's all I know.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, the first time we shot this, but first time Susan's like, "Can I share this with you?" And she drew this chart out, but she's like, "Oh, it's messed up because like it ended at 6,000. She's like, "It's actually really all the way up there." So, you know, I know you're just starting, and pretty soon, where are you going? Where are you going?
Well, these metrics are pretty predictable. Like a very specific percentage of people are opting in, and a very specific percentage of the people are buying the course. So what we have planned in a couple months is a launch that, if all these metrics hold true, is going to bring my list to about 50,000 people. The launch is going to do about $1 million. And and then I'm going to deliver this course to 5 times as many people as I have in the past. So I'm sort of hardening my infrastructure and ramping up for that. And then I'll write a book, and, you know, that's where it's just honestly, I can't afford to be a professor anymore. I've asked the board of trustees for an unpaid leave of absence because I can't teach my classes and mother my kids and do this at the same time. And I've weighed out the impact. I love being a professor. I've been a professor for 12 years. I have tenure. I've been promoted. But this is so much more rewarding because I have impact on such a much bigger level. So
that's amazing.
It's awesome. It's
where can people find your material?
So I have my squeeze page. my materials are available at happythinandfree.com. So www.happythinandfree.com.
Absolutely amazing. Amazing story, amazing impact. Thank you for sharing it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, that's awesome. So I'm Jeff Walker. If you're watching this anywhere else besides on my blog, head on over there. It's jeffwalker.com. And give Susan a thumbs up on this video. And scroll down, leave a comment, and let her know what you think. And let's go get them this week.